The Orlando Magic fell in their first preseason game against the Grizzlies yesterday. I have Kobe Price here. So, Kobe, this was an important game. It was actually the first game where a lot of fans and players got to see Paolo in action. How did you do yesterday?
Yeah, for Paulo, the number one pick in June's draft, he looked, kind of like a rookie. I don't mean that in a bad way. He looked like a guy that was adjusting to the speed of the NBA game, getting used to being used in different ways than he was at Duke. He mentioned himself that running a more pick and roll as a roll man or even the ball handler was an adjustment from what he was used to in college when he was isolating more. So he looked like a guy who was adjusting, getting used to his new teammates, getting used to the new speed of the game. And then also, he had good moments. He had nice flashes. He had a really impressive dunk over two Grizzlies that really, a highlight reel worthy play. Had a nice steal and layup for the Magic's first basket, but he looks like a guy who's going to need a little bit more time to adjust to the differences between the NBA and college in terms of physicality, speed, pace, and also just get used to being used differently from a play type standpoint than he did in his lone season with the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I know it's preseason, but you hate seeing that loss on the first one coming out. Where did they struggle last night? Does it seem like it's some of the same areas?
Yeah, when you look at what they struggled with last night compared to last season, it was more or less similar or the same. Turnovers was the biggest one. They had 25 turnovers for 23 Grizzly points. And Coach Jamal Mosley, he mentioned this, as a great challenge playing against a Memphis team that does cause a lot of turnovers. He mentioned that as a great challenge for them post game, and just an opportunity for them to understand, I guess, the level of growth and what exactly they need to do to get to that next level, that next phase of their development as a team.
I think it was an opportunity for them to understand the level of growth and the things that we're going to have to continue to do to get where we're trying to go. Us having 25 turnovers for 33 points and, fouling them and putting them on the line 34 times. I think those are areas that we're going to have to continue to grow and get better at, understanding how we can defend without fouling and taking care of the basketball.
So that was the main thing. Turnovers, sometimes the guys got a little bit sped up. And for them, this is what preseason is about, learning through those mistakes. The foul trouble was a little bit troublesome as well. But learning through these mistakes, getting the turnovers out the way, slowing down a little bit. Those were the biggest lessons that, Jamal Mosley mentioned that the Grizzlies want to challenge them at, and they very much did.
Yeah, so this was the first of 5 preseason games. It's interesting is that the Magic actually missed some of their training camp because of Ian. So curious what happens now. Where do they go from this one?
Yeah, for them, it's kind of back to the drawing board. They will return to practice on Wednesday. They have a pair of preseason games against the Spurs on Thursday and the Mavericks on Friday on the road. So for them, it's just, they have game tape, and that's a very valuable part of it. Before Monday, a lot of it was in theory, right? Like they're practicing against one another and it's thinking, all right, this may work, kind of just throwing things on the wall. But now they have actual live game tape to reflect on, to go off of. So now you can see, hey, when you're driving to the basket, getting a little too deep, or you're not getting deep enough. You're not forcing the defense to collapse. So now you can tweak things. You can try out different things. You can experiment even more. You can say, hey, this lineup didn't provide what we thought it would. Maybe we sub one guy for another, or maybe we give it another shot, but we put guys in different positions. But the most valuable part is you have a game tape to go off of. And now you can make adjustments after playing another team instead of having to scrimmage or play against yourself, or, like you mentioned, not having the most consistent practice time because of the hurricane.